guys, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us today is Kristian Harloff.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Movie Talk. Mark Ellis can't be in here. He's at the Chuckle Hut in Denver. I don't know if that's true, but he is out telling those jokes. I'm over here, I guess, now. Nice to see you. No, it doesn't
Also
matter.
Joining us, Dennis Zen.
She just cut me
Hey,
off.
it's Thursday. It's Thursday, and I'm actually on a movie talk. It's not Friday, so I feel weird being here at the table.
Don't feel weird. You're with family.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was sweet. Also joining us, Clarke
Not
Wolfe.
you.
It's like Olive Garden. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you, Natasha, for having me today.
Yeah.
I am the host of the show. All right.
Apparently.
Also joining us, David Griffin.
First of all, Olive Garden is fantastic. You get unlimited breadsticks, unlimited salad, and it's great. Also, I'm doing back-to-back live shows. I got back-to-back movie talk and then TV talk after this.
Oh, no, we switched you off.
Damn.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry. I'm out of the
can't do
show.
both.
I'm sorry.
Can't do
I'm out of
both.
the show. Sorry about that.
All right, lots of stuff happening in the world of movie news. Something up top happened here, Natasha. What was that?
MGM has released the first Death Wish trailer. Eli Roth's upcoming remake stars Bruce Willis as Paul Kersey, a mild-mannered Chicago architect who goes on a quest for revenge after his wife, played by Elizabeth Shue, and daughter, played by Camila Morrone, are victims of a violent home invasion. The film also stars Vincent D'Onofrio, Jack Kesey, Dean Norris, and Mike Epps. Death Wish is set for release on November 22nd, 2017. Kristian, what did you think about the first trailer for Death Wish?
Well, I love the cast as far as D'Onofrio goes, and you never know who you're going to get with Bruce Willis. You're going to get phoning in Bruce Willis, or you're going to get the Bruce Willis that showed up in Looper. You don't know, but I didn't like the trailer. I didn't like it at all. I think that the problem with it was that I was waiting for the Charles Bronson kind of gritty feel, and it's glossed up. But it also a big problem I have with it, and I've been having this a lot, song choice. Back in Black does not fit what this movie's trying to go with. First of all, you associate it right away with Iron Man. The other thing is that when the movie kind of sets this kind of fun tone, and I don't know if you want to go with that with this type of movie, because if you look at where the movie failed, Punisher or Max Payne, the TV Daredevil with oh my God, Frank. Not Frank Castle, but give me Frank
Kingpin.
Castle. No, his name, the actor's name. I can't get it. John Bernthal. Thank you. But John Bernthal. That is the tone that I would like to see in Death Wish. That's what this is. It's the fact that how are you going to do, or even the Brave one with Jodie Foster. Like, that's how you do that type of vigilante movies. Having this kind of fun thing, it was weird. Maybe the overall movie works out, but the tone of the trailer was just all over the map for me. So I didn't like it. Dennis, am I by myself?
Yeah, I'm with you there. Once the music kicks in, you're like, what is this? This is not the Death Wish I remember.
Right.
The original one was gritty. It was dark. It was, more of a drama and about this guy's pain, about the loss of his family and why he's doing that. This looks like he's like having fun or something. Like, I'm glad my family got killed. Now I get to kill all these other people.
Right.
Hey, guy, high five. I don't get it. I mean, this is not the movie that you should remake to fit like a high, big budget blockbuster.
Right.
It just doesn't work at all.
Clarke, should the name of this movie be Hey Guy, High Five?
Hey, guy, high five. I'm of two minds about this because on the one hand, I really like Eli Roth a lot. I like him as a director. I like him as a producer as well. And I think there's something to be said for exploitation movies in cinema. I mean, historically and now. But on the other hand, yeah, I think the tone of this is questionable, not only from a movie-going experience, but like just in general, the idea that someone with a gun is going to walk around Chicago killing people, like blowing people away because he decided is a little uncomfortable,
Right.
I would say, for me. You can get your SJW keys ready, commenters, I see you. But like, it's important to say, I don't, and again, it's a trailer, so I don't know, but like the idea that we're putting the Iron Man song with a guy going around and shooting people, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. David?
It feels like the trailer trivializes what the original film was all
Right.
about.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these old pictures here of Bronson. He had the suit on, took it seriously. It's very dark, gritty, has a kind of noirish feel to it. Think about Denzel in The Equalizer even.
Right.
Not a perfect movie, but it was still enjoyable, but it was serious.
Yep.
He was a dude who was upset. He wanted to do help people out. But he was extremely violent guy, killed
Man
a lot
on
of bad
Fire,
guys.
too.
Man on Fire. Even John Wick.
Yeah.
Took itself
Yes.
seriously in a good way.
Falling Down is another one.
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
like this revenge tales.
Right.
So,
I think you said it perfect. The Punisher, you can see in Daredevil season 2, that is a dude who is broken.
Right.
I mean, he's had the world on his shoulder. He's broken, and they don't show that in here. The guy looks like he's having fun.
Yeah.
It's weird.
all right. Well, nobody liked that. Too bad. Natasha, what's on the first official story of the docket?
Okay, in a newly released interview with IGN, the Mummy director and Dark Universe architect Alex Kurtzman cast some doubt onto his involvement in the future of the shared universe of monster movies by revealing to the outlet that he is unsure if he'll return after The Mummy didn't exactly launch the franchise as intended. Speaking about Dark Universe and his place in it, Kurtzman said, "You know, the truth is, I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't really decided," is the honest answer. "I have to stay interested in it. I have to feel like my passion is there for it. I think if your passion isn't there, you shouldn't be doing it." Kristian, thoughts on Alex Kurtzman possibly moving on from the Dark Universe?
I think it's a bit of a spin. I think that they probably had some conversations afterwards. I think that besides Kurtzman obviously being upset with the Mummy reception and Universal obviously being probably upset with the reception, I think that they probably are both agreeing that he's maybe not the guy to be involved as much anymore. And then he's kind of setting us up for just be prepared for my announcement that I won't be doing much with this. And maybe that's the right way to go. The Mummy wasn't very good. I think I liked it more than anyone at this table, I think. I enjoyed it for the fun, stupid popcorn movie that it was. But that doesn't necessarily mean I think it was the cornerstone of a let's begin this shared universe with this, because that absolutely did it. It seemed like a reach, like they were trying to go for, well, you're going to see this monster here and this person there, and we miscast Tom Cruise, which never has happened before, and we were able to do it. But again, I wanted to see more from it. I did. I just don't necessarily know if Kurtzman was the guy. What do you think?
I think that, The Mummy was a huge disappointment. And I don't know how much of that is, at the end of the day, Alex Kurtzman and Chris Morgan's fault, and how much of that is the studio saying, this is the type of movie we want to make. Tom Cruise saying, this is the type of movie I want to make. There were a bunch of off-the-record conversations that sort of or stories that made their way into the trades about how Tom Cruise was specifically given way too much creative control over this movie. So I don't want to fault Alex, because I know that Alex loves monsters. I know this. I've had conversations with him about monsters way before this Dark Universe was ever announced. That being said, The Mummy, to me, was a disaster. And if you guys remember, I was excited for The Mummy up until the day it came out. But I did not even have fun with it. Not even fun.
Like I said, I think I'm the only person.
No, and that's okay. But I mean, I, as a monster person, as somebody who was very excited for the Dark Universe, hated that movie. So with that being said, I think fans have been saying this. I think that hopefully studios are starting to notice, stop announcing cinematic universes and release dates before you even know if they're going to work. And so if Alex is involved going forward or not, I don't know. What I do know is that Bride of Frankenstein, with Bill Condon being the next thing to come out from this Universal Dark Universe that is slated to come out from the Dark Universe, is the right move. Because Bill Condon, I think, is going to make a small, intimate movie using the Bride of Frankenstein. David Koepp wrote that script, and he said it was one of his favorite scripts he's ever written. So I think there is still great potential for this Dark Universe, but stop trying to force it all together and just focus on making a great monster movie at a time.
Well, David, what do you think? Is it a big deal if Kurtzman? Do you think Kurtzman should come back? Is it a big deal if he doesn't?
Well, I look at this in the quote here. It says, "I have to stay interested in it." That sounds like a guy who's under contract. And he's getting paid by Universal, probably getting paid a lot of money, which I understand. I mean, he's getting bigger, but he's not Tom Cruise big. He's not obviously Universal big. So, I mean, it seems like he would be a guy who would have to, in some way, toe the company line if he wants to continue working. I thought Michael Bay said it best. I mean, we can criticize him all he wants, but I remember after he made Bad Boys 1, he said his number one thing he wanted to do was stay out of director jail. That was his number one thing, and he toes the line. That's why Michael Bay keeps getting hired. He keeps delivering and making money, whether you like him or not. And I think Kurtzman, he sounds like he's distressed here. He's not sure what he wants to do. He's losing passion for the project, I think, but at the same time, he's under contract, so he doesn't want to, created. I mean, Hollywood's a small town. So, I mean, I think there is an issue here. I don't think he likes the direction. I hope what Clarke says about the next film they're going to make is going to be a good one, but I can tell he's doubting himself right now.
Dennis, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm like you. I didn't hate the movie, but I understand why people do, because it's not really like a monster movie. It's not scary. It was more of an action comedy almost, but not quite as fun as the original Mummy with Brendan Fraser. With him leaving, of course he's less interested because both critically and financially didn't do well. Trust me, if it was doing blockbusters, doing gangbusters at the box office, he'd be fine. He'd be like, I'm super pumped to do the next one.
Right.
This also, on a side note that's kind of related, you have Akiva Goldsman leaving the Transformer franchise. Both of these things kind of had this writer's room thing, which apparently I don't think works for movies. It works great for
Especially
television.
when they're not used. Like it's like, let's do a writer's room. Here's what we came up with. No thanks. I'm just gonna blow stuff up and do slow motion like I've always done.
True, but it's also hard because if you think of a television series, you have a showrunner or showrunners, and you have a team of writers, and then you plot out the entire story for the season or future seasons, and then you say, okay, well, you're gonna handle this episode, and you're gonna handle this where this one you're all kind of tackling the same episode, so it just comes out if you've watched The Mummy, or especially with The Last Night, it's a mess, and so I think they should abandon this writer room experiment for movies. Keep it for television. Get away from movies.
See, I'm gonna go the other side on that. I think that if it just depends on who's ultimately in charge of it all, because when you have, I think that Clarke's right. Sometimes the studio gets involved and they put their head in, or they let a star like Tom Cruise, who I like very much, but maybe like when you heard what he wanted to do with Iron Man initially, when he was supposed to be on it, some of the moves weren't true to that particular character. Now he had a little bit more leeway in The Mummy because there wasn't this kind of set lore behind it. You can change it around a little bit, but that if his choices went through, and that's what we saw, then obviously those didn't work. But I think that if you put someone in head, like you told me that, I don't know, Matthew Vaughn was in charge of a writer's room, I'd be excited about that because I want to see the team that he's going to put together. If or you went to someone like, even Inarritu has together a writer's room where he's going to do something, or, we have all these, like a different type of director who's going to be in charge of these writers, and I might be excited for it. Michael Bay, no, I'm not excited for him running a writer's room because, like I said, I don't think he's listening to that writer's room. I mean, you had guys that were, Stephen DeKnight was part of that at one point, and he obviously didn't listen to anyone because none of that stuff on Transformers was in that movie. And if it was, I guarantee you Stephen DeKnight did not write Merlin cracking jokes.
Well, look at the writers who are credited on The Mummy. They're great writers.
Right.
Christopher McQuarrie is on there.
Right.
I mean, like it's clear that something went wrong. That meaning systematically,
right.
With The Mummy.
Yeah.
But Kristian, isn't that the problem that we have with? I think Marvel's tackled it probably better than anybody with these big, huge blockbuster movies. Is there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Right.
There's too many hands changed. So I mean, if you have like, Inarritu is going to do the next Ant-Man movie.
Right.
He can't make the Revenant Ant-Man style. I mean,
Right.
He's going to be
He's gonna have
told,
to-
just
yeah.
with the Gareth Edwards. I mean, it happens in Star Wars. I mean, it's going to be shifted. The story's going to change.
Well, that's what happens when you are part of a machine now. Mm-hmm. But like you just mentioned, the Marvel is a well-oiled machine that's been going since 2008 now as far as the shared universe. Mm-hmm. Mummy, like you said, let's just start one. We're going to start one, and guess what, guys? We got this person. That is dangerous to do because if the first one isn't that second movie, it really all relies on that second film, or otherwise I got to scrap the whole thing. All right, Natasha, what's next?
According to a report from The Wrap, Chiwetel Ejiofor has entered talks to voice the role of Scar in the live-action Lion King remake. Jeremy Irons voiced the role in the original 1994 Lion King, with reports claiming last month that it would actually be Hugh Jackman voicing the role before reps for the star said that there was absolutely no truth to it. Ejiofor now joins Donald Glover as Simba, James Earl Jones as Mufasa, Seth Rogen as Pumba, Billy Eichner as Timone, and John Oliver as Zazu, with reports also stating that Beyonce is up for the role of Nala. The Lion King will arrive in theaters on July 19th, 2019. Clarke, what are your thoughts on Chiwetel Ejiofor playing the role for Scar in The Lion King?
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm very glad that they did not go with Hugh Jackman. I love Hugh Jackman, but Hugh Jackman is not a sinister villain to me. And so, not to say that Chiwetel is either, but I do think that he has, there's a quality to his voice that I think is powerful and very cool and different. And so I like it a lot.
I think it's brilliant casting, and he has played a villain before in Serenity.
Who?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. He absolutely can play a villain, and I think that Hugh Jackman has played a villain, and I think that he would have been good, but I like this choice way better. I think that's that smooth voice, this kind of sinister Scar. I think he can nail it. I love this cast. I love the fact that they got James Earl Jones back, and they should have, and I'm glad that they did. And this is just, I'm enjoying the way that they're casting here, the same way that I enjoyed the way that they cast Beauty and the Beast. The voices will make, and I actually really love the choice of Beyonce. I hope that that's true. I think that she would be really good as Nala. So I'm liking what I'm hearing so far. David, what do you think?
I'm down. I mean, I first saw Chiwetel Ejiofor in Serenity. That was the first time I saw him, and of course now he's blown up with 12 Years a Slave, and he's just a fantastic actor. So I buy this. Also by Kristian and Mark, when you guys saw the footage.
We are in the movie.
You are in the movie. They're also in the movie, and they saw the footage of D23, and you just described. Mark said, if you thought that Jungle Book looked good, then like wait till you see this. So, I mean, I can't wait.
They
to see
just
this.
showed us the opening scene and the way, and you're absolutely right. That's what we said as far as the way that it looks. I mean, it's crazy. I know people. The one comment I couldn't. It's not live action. It's all animated. Well, yeah, we get it, but it looks live action. That's the point. Is that they're trying to do what they can with this to make it seem like it's live action. It's not traditional animation. It is completely computer CGI, but it looks so real. The next transfer of what we're doing here. Dennis, what do you think about Ejiofor?
I think he's a good choice. You guys mentioned Serenity, played the operative, and he was very menacing in that and very cool and calm. Also, with Doctor Strange, he's going to play a Baron. I mean, he already played Baron Mordo, but he's going to take a villainous turn. I'm just everything I hear about this. It sounds good. I really like the Jungle Book, and if the visuals are going to be even beyond those, I can't even imagine. That thing was crazy. Tons of the scenery, the environments, the characters, they all looked very realistic. And then, with the live action thing, yes, there's a little, debate about that, but they are going to do performance capture, so they are at least getting that element versus it being truly fully animated.
Right. Natasha, you love The Lion King. What do you think about Ejiofor being Scar?
I think it's perfect. Like, there's not one voice cast that I've heard that I'm like, no. And that's kind of opposite with like Beauty and the Beast. Like some of the cast people that got cast, I'm saying cast a billion times, but some of them I was just unhappy with, especially being a huge Disney fan. But Lion King, I can't wait. A Wimbowa.
Nice.
All the way, baby.
Did you mention inside of that cast, and if you did, I'm sorry, did they cast Rafiki yet?
No, I didn't
Okay.
see Rafiki.
That's my favorite. All right, what's next?
Okay, we're actually on to opening
That's
this
right.
week.
We are. So tell us about what's opening this week.
Okay, Detroit is opening this week, and it's the true story of one of the most terrifying moments during the civil unrest that rocked Detroit in the summer of '67. Amidst the chaos of the Detroit rebellion with the city under curfew, and as the Michigan National Guard patrolled the streets, 3 young African-American men were murdered at the Algiers Motel. 50 years after the events of July 25th, 1967, the question remains, what happened at that motel? Kidnap is also coming out this week. A typical afternoon in the park turns into a nightmare for single mother Carla Dyson when kidnappers snatch her young son Frankie. With no cell phone and no time to wait for police, Dyson jumps into her car to follow the vehicle that holds Frankie.
All right, well, Kidnap is part of a shared universe, apparently. There are 15 Kidnap movies that Halle Berry stars in. I'm not kidding you. I got a call from one of my family members. I was just like, I think my theater messed up. They showed a movie trailer from 3 years ago, Halle Berry and some kidnapping movie, and I was like, yeah, that was a mess up. I'm like, wait, she's doing another one? And the first thing I thought was get a babysitter, get someone that can watch your kid because it keeps getting stolen. I don't have any interest in that stupid thing. But as far as Detroit goes, I do want to see Detroit. Everyone else got to see it. I was very upset because I love Catherine Bigelow. I think she's one of the best directors we have working today. Zero Dark 30 was incredible. Hurt Locker, Point Break, Mother F's. There's so many great movies that she has done in the past, and she's one of those directors that when she puts out a film, I have to see it. I have to see how she's going to tell the story. There's kind of mixed reactions on Detroit. Some people think it's a masterpiece. Others think not as much. But I want to go in there for myself and check it out. But Dennis, which of these two are you looking forward to?
Well, I mean, with Detroit, I've already seen it.
Okay.
I think it's a powerful film. I wouldn't put it as a masterpiece, but I really like it. I think it was well directed. Performances were great, and it tells a lot about what went on back then and how it relates to today. Kidnap. I think I don't know how many she's done of these. I actually remember the first one, the call. Right. I actually liked that one. It was directed by Brad Anderson. It was with Abigail Breslin. But then I guess she's sometimes when someone finds their niche, that's all they do. They're like, okay, well,
I'm the kidnapping lady.
Exactly, right? Like if you're the badass guy, then you're gonna play the badass guy in every role. And so now this is, I guess, I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah, David.
I'm definitely going to go see Detroit. I'm very excited for that. I mean, on a diversity front, it's great to see. Mostly all these posters here, mostly African-American casting. I mean, that's great to see. But, yeah, just don't take the kids to the park. Just keep them at home. Keep them safe.
Clarke, good endorsement for parks, by the way. Clarke?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, if Liam Neeson can make 600 of the same stupid movie, whether it's Taken or Fighting Wolves or whatever he does, then I don't understand why Halle Berry can't do it either. And I think it's important. She's leading these movies. I mean, that's amazing. So good for her. And as for Detroit, I've heard the mixed reaction as well. I am curious. The cast is great. I'm very, very excited for this cast in Detroit. I want to see all of them shine, and so that's sort of the thing that's pushing me the most to check that one out.
All right.
The one thing I would say about Detroit, though, is the way the trailer and the way they're marketing it, it's not exactly what it seems.
How so?
Just like they're trying to make it look like it's about John Boyega's character and like him being framed and whatnot, and that's not what the movie is about.
No. All right. Well, now it's that time of the show, buy or sell. Natasha's going to read up some stories from the world of the movie news, and we're either going to buy it or sell it. What's up first?
A new TV spot and international clip for It debuted yesterday ahead of its September debut in theaters. The international clip teases a famous scene from the book it's based on, with the TV spot showing off a tad more Pennywise and the many ways he can get to you. It stars Bill Skarsgård as the iconic clown alongside an ensemble of young actors that includes Stranger Things' Finn Wolfhard and Midnight Special's Jaden Lieberher. Directed by Mama's Andreas Muschietti, it opens in theaters on September 8th, 2017. David, buy or sell the new clip and TV spot for It?
Oh, I buy everything from It. This looks so terrifying. That one clip they show, trailer they show with him in the crowd with the kids. It kind of reminds me of Bozo the Clown, and Bozo the Clown was a very influential show. Like there was this game where like you drop the ball in the bucket. You know what I'm talking about, Clarke?
Oh, yeah,
Bozo the Clown. And this is terrifying. It makes me afraid to watch Bozo the Clown ever again. So I'm gonna see this. I'm scared. Every trailer that comes out, I'm terrified. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, I'm going to buy them also. I think that this. I was talking to you and Riley, and I was surprised because I loved the miniseries. Well, the first half of the miniseries that came out back in the day with Ed, I thought it was great. But there were some scary parts about that one, and this was what I was scared about times 20. Like there were so many cool moments about it, the way that they're gonna do this movie, and I think that what I was concerned about with Pennywise, the way that he was gonna play him, was just gonna be this kind of depressing, sad, mean clown when he needed to be, but that creepy smile said, "All right, I'm in." Just that thing. That's why Wendy's not here today. I don't want to hear anything else. That's why she's not here, because that smile is perfect. The way that when he's running after the kid like this, I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I wanted to see. I was in before, but now I'm 100% sold. I love it. Buy it. What do you think, Dennis?
Yeah, I'm buying it as well. He's so scary and freaky. And that one, I think it was a Spanish little clip or whatever, like the balloons just floating and them cutting back and forth. And you're like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I do, but I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then once you see it, you're freaked out. I just want to run out of the room. Maybe not as much as Makuga when he saw the trailer, but still pretty scary. And I also like the kind of Stranger Things / Goonies feel from like these clips that we're getting, that we're going to get this ensemble of kids and their kind of adventures. Obviously these adventures are horrific, but at least you have that tone to it.
Yeah. Clarke, will you be reviewing it with Josh McCougar for us?
Anytime, any place. It would be my pleasure to sit next to him through this movie. He would not be able to handle
you
it.
have to keep him in the seat.
I sure would. So for me, it's a buy. I want to buy them all. Buy them all. Buy them all. Here's what I love about this ad campaign. The repetition. You'll float too. You'll float too. Kill them all. Kill them all. They're doing this really clever thing that it's just with the sound, how they manipulate the sound in all of these spots and these catchphrases. You'll float to, kill them all. This is from the novel. This is all from the book. And I think what they're telling people who know the book and know the source material, we see you, we got you. In fact, the piece with him sitting in the kids show that we saw on this teaser, it is a nod to Bozo. And what's interesting is Andy Muschietti has said, Pennywise in the novel is described as a mix between Bozo the Clown and something else. I forget the other clown that they mentioned, but Andy has said, we went a different way. We're not going for the Bozo the Clown look, which is more maybe you would think the Tim Curry miniseries. We went for an ancient look. We went for like an old, out of time kind of aesthetic with the design of Pennywise, and I think that's really working. But it's a great nod for fans of the source material to see that piece of him in that Bozo-esque studio. So it's really cool. They're crushing. And one more thing. We talked about it on Nightmares a lot. The first couple of images that we saw that Entertainment Weekly would always release from this movie, all of us on the panel were like, because they just seemed so fake and like processed and staged and goofy almost. But seeing it in action and seeing, they have done, for me as a fan, they have done a complete 180 and turned it completely around from my initial reaction.
Natasha, will you be seeing it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I cannot wait.
Nice.
Like I have a love-hate relationship with scary movies, but this one I just
being one of those, right?
That's the ultimate horror movie. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. I can't wait. I also want to say I can watch Clarke talk about it forever because you get so into it, and I'm just like in class, like listening. It's so cool.
Thanks, Natasha.
The It Show. Okay, what's next?
Okay, Netflix has released the first trailer for Angelina Jolie's First They Killed My Father. Jolie directs the film based on the memoir of Long Ung, who survived the deadly Khmer Rouge regime from 1975 to 1978 as a child in Cambodia, with Jolie also collaborated on the script with Ung. The grand-scale period epic was shot entirely in Cambodia using local cast and even shot in the Khmer language by Jolie, whose love affair with the country began while filming Lara Croft Tomb Raider. The film will premiere at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival before hitting Netflix on September 15th. Dennis, buy or sell the first trailer for Angelina Jolie's First They Killed My Father?
When I was watching the first thing, it's hard not to think of Beast of No Nation. It's another movie that Netflix did that was about children's soldiers. You didn't really get much from this trailer. For now, I'm going to have to sell it. I don't know how many more times I need to see that gunshot in the woods with the birds flying away in the skies thing. And then we have the recent controversy of Angelina Jolie and
torturing children in order to get them. Yeah,
we can all discuss that
Right.
after we all give our opinions. But yeah, then you have that with this while I'm watching it, thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm going to sell the trailer also. It's not because I don't want to see the story. I actually think the story is pretty fascinating. I think that the movie could actually turn out to be fascinating. I think what Angelina Jolie has done well as a director was hiring the right cinematographer. Her movies have looked gorgeous. Just haven't told me a story that I've been completely invested in. Unbroken didn't do it for me. The thing she did with Brad Pitt didn't really work for me. But this is going to be something I'm very intrigued with. But yeah, it looked beautiful. It looked like there were a lot of cool images. But I learned more in the synopsis that Natasha read, and when David told me a little bit about the story, I learned more from them telling me in a couple of sentences than I did in that entire trailer. I don't know what it's about. I can kind of assume what it's about, but I want the trailer to tell me a little bit about it, especially in a movie that's going to be coming out on Netflix, doesn't have a wide release. What is it about? Because this is a fascinating story, and it should have been told that way. Clarke?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to sell the trailer as well, just because for the reasons you said, I don't feel like it really communicated what the story is. I just don't think it's a good trailer. And so simply on the merits of the trailer, I would sell it.
David?
I don't know. I think I'm going to buy the trailer. I think I'm just a sucker for beautiful images, and I think this cinematographer Anthony Dodd Mantle's worked a lot with Danny Boyle doing Slumdog Millionaire in 127 Hours. So I definitely want to check this out. I mean, just because the story, like child soldiers, you hear a lot more about it in Africa. Obviously, with like Blood Diamond and Beast of No Nation, you see that more. But I've never heard the Cambodian side of it, so I'm fascinated by that story. But Kristian, like you, I hope that she tells a captivating story around, because it's not just because a story or a news segment is captivating doesn't mean the movie's going to be captivating.
Right.
Telling a story in a film is really difficult, so hopefully she can translate that story into the film.
Well, we're going to find out. Now it's time for Mailbag. You guys have been submitting some questions, and we are going to be answering those questions. What do we got?
Chris writes, "Hey Collider, after Transformers 5 disappointing box office performance, I thought that Paramount would pull Michael Bay from producing the Bumblebee spinoff, but he seems to be staying on the project regardless. Are you worried that Bay might compromise Travis Knight's vision for the film given how active he is as a producer, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies? Thanks, and bring on the filthy."
It makes me nervous. It does, because I think that, even when you look at those Transformers movies, I think that Michael Bay had his stamp on those things too, because they felt Michael Bay-ish, and I didn't like either one of those movies. I'm just not a fan of any vision the guy has. I mean, he makes money. He makes money, but I think that I'm hoping that they let Travis Knight do his thing. I hope that's why he was hired. I think that there's a possibility that we get a Travis Knight version of this film. The only problem that comes with this is that with a movie, this franchise, which has made billions of dollars, and a guy like Travis Knight, who had one really standout film that was animated, he might get bullied. I hope that's not the case. I haven't heard as much Paramount doing that type of thing, but we'll see. I'm nervous, though. I think Michael Bay will have his stamp. Clarke, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, the notion that Michael Bay would get pulled off anything is not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, and especially when it comes to Transformers, it's clear that Paramount really values their relationship with Michael Bay, and I think that it is safe to assume that he's going to be really involved. But one can hope that Travis Knight was hired for a reason, and he was hired for a vision. And look, I mean, I'm not an across the board Michael Bay hater. I like a good amount of his movies. I like the first Transformers movie, and we've all heard crazy Michael Bay stories, but believe it or not, I've also heard from some filmmakers who have had interaction with him, like young filmmakers, that he can be a good person to have around. So we'll see. I mean, maybe the two guys will hit it off. Maybe they will share a vision, and maybe it will be all for the best. But I think as long as you see Transformers, you will see Michael Bay.
David?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I guess just kind of sit and hope for the best, because hopefully Travis Knight will have a story and an idea and a concept that is going to blow everybody away. It'll blow Michael Bay away. It'll blow the studio away, and they'll back off him and let him do his vision, which I think could be incredible. But like you said, we're talking about these big money machines. They have to control them. I mean, it's too much money at stake. They're not going to let somebody go off the rails. I mean, it has to still feel like it exists within the Transformers universe. So yeah, I think it's going to have a similar look to all the Michael Bay movies.
Dennis?
Yeah, I'm actually not that worried, and this is coming from someone who despises the Transformers franchise, not the franchise, but the movie franchise. I think he will be involved, but I don't know how much. Definitely more maybe on the technical aspects. Maybe he's going to help out with, the visual effects and stuff like that. But I'm hoping Travis Knight gets to do his movie. I thought he did a wonderful job with Kubo and the Two Strings. And also, the latest Transformers didn't do. I think it's the weakest performing, including the first one.
Internationally, also, yeah.
Yeah. It's not doing very well. So maybe his sway isn't as powerful. Though, I mean, you're right. His connection to Paramount, they have a Michael Bay Avenue on the lot. So obviously, they have strong ties to him.
He's made them a lot of money.
He has. But I'm thinking maybe he may do what Spielberg. Remember when Spielberg was producing the Transformers movies?
Right.
I think maybe that's what he's going to do with this.
Maybe so. All right, so now we're going to move on. Before we get into the Twitter questions, make sure that you are obviously submitting some questions. Natasha's going to be looking at those at Collider Video. We have a bunch of stuff happening here in the world of Collider. Heroes and TV Talk. They are both daily now, and Heroes, the newest episode dropped yesterday. Check that out. And a little one, obviously, a little later today, as well as all the TV Talk episodes with this man right here, David Griffin. That'll be going live in just a little bit. And then an all-new comic book shopping also dropped yesterday with Sarah Chalke and Chris Parnell. I love Chris Parnell on Saturday Night Live. Check out, if you ever watched comic book shopping, I'm telling you guys, go and watch that show. It is very interesting. As someone who's not an avid comic book reader, to watch these guests come in, celebrity guests, and they're not all, again, avid readers, but they go and they talk to someone like Schnepp, who is the sweatiest of sweaties. It is a lot of fun to watch. Schmodown comes out tomorrow. Got a big one between the Beast, William Bibiani, and Scott Mance coming back into the ring, so check that out. Jedi Council, that's happening a little later today. Tiffany Smith returns to the council, so go and check that out. And obviously, an all-new Awesome-tacular. It comes out tomorrow. Check out all of the episodes. There's a playlist to all the episodes in today's show notes, so go and check that out. All right, Natasha, the twits. They had a bunch.
Twits.
What's going on?
Lots of twits coming in. All right. Violent Delight asks, thoughts on Hollywood studios pushing back against Rotten Tomatoes with more embargoes closer to release dates?
See, I read that article. I don't necessarily think it's a pushing back. It's just sticking with, we have a stinky movie. We're going to be smart about it, and we're not, we know, like the emojis where this all came from. The studio said, well, we know everyone's going to hate this movie. Let's just tell them they can't review it until it comes out, and good luck to us all. And that's what they should have done, to be honest with you, because I don't agree with the one, I can't remember the Sony rep who was like, well, it's because this wasn't geared to anyone over 11. Well, then you're a dope. It should be geared to everyone. You want the parents to go in there and have fun too. Yes, it's going to be for kids primarily, but you got to also make it an enjoying experience. Otherwise, you're going to get a $25 million opening when it should have been 40 or 50. But as far as like the release dates, I think that's not necessarily them pushing back. I think it's just going, if we have a crap movie, we're just gonna make a strong embargo.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's kind of been how it is forever. I mean, in terms of embargoes go, that's not new to Rotten Tomatoes. And I have been a staunch defender of Rotten Tomatoes, and just because it's an algorithm, it's not a review.
It's
like
not a person.
I don't understand how there's still this confusion and how filmmakers and studios blame Rotten Tomatoes. But I actually just got frustrated with the website this morning because of the Annabelle creation stuff. So you can look at my Twitter for that. But yeah, it's interesting how it all is going.
Dennis?
Yeah, I don't know if they're pushing back. I know there's been statements from studio execs that have been talking about, like, well, if we didn't get so many bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes or whatnot. It's like, I think both fans and studios and directors can't be blaming Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, like you said, it's an algorithm. It's a formula. They take the congregation of all the reviews. There's no fixing involved. There's no one person going, hey guys, we're decided that we're gonna go this way with this movie. All right, and there's no conspiracy there. And so I'm just kind of tired of that. Look, there's certain things, like you said, you disagree with what the Rotten Tomatoes score with Annabelle creation is, but you understand that it's not a person doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can look at certain things and go, oh man, I don't agree with that. Oh, I think that movie should have been much higher, but I don't get like so upset that it like changes, the way I look at the industry.
David?
Yeah, I don't mind the embargo. You know where you see it a lot now is in video games. They've been cutting down on giving reviewers copies early, big time, because now with video games it's a much bigger investment because you're dropping $60 with tax, $65 with a movie ticket. You can go see a matinee for maybe $8. So it's not as big of an investment. Plus, we're kind of I'm spoiled here because I have all you wonderful people that see movies way ahead of time. So usually I kind of have a feel for what's good and what's not good. But I think for movies, I don't mind it as much. For video games, it bothers me more just because it's such a big investment. I want to see reviews ahead of time because I'm dropping $65.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Scooby Dooby Doo asks, what are your most overlooked movies of 2017 so far?
Most overlooked?
Like ones that we liked that didn't get much play.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I guess, Baby Driver did pretty well, so I can't really say Baby Driver. So, what's overlooked?
Yeah,
you know what? I'll tell you what's overlooked that a lot of people, it did okay, but it should have done a lot better, is the Batman Lego movie. Batman Lego, considering how good the first one and the kind of the fact that people thought I got snubbed for the Oscar, Batman Lego was really clever. It was a lot of fun. It was one of the better. It really understood what Batman was all about, even though it was kind of a parody, but it wasn't. And I really loved that movie. I thought that was a really good movie for kids and for adults. And that's one I think was overlooked, even though it did fine. It should have been. I think it should have been a smash hit.
I'm going to go back another year because I can't think of anything for 2017, but I'm going to go 2016 and say Pop Star.
Funny.
Pop Star is a
Andy
great
Samberg one, right?
movie. Yeah.
It's funny.
And it is currently on HBO Go and HBO Now. So if you want to watch it there. You can obviously buy it. But I think that movie really suffered because it had a big Universal behind it, and it was an R-rated comedy. Because if that movie had been a Netflix original movie, it would have been the talk of the summer last summer. So go back another year and go watch Pop Star. It is excellent.
David?
I really enjoyed A Cure for Wellness.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, Gore Verbinski's film came out, I believe, in February. A lot of people kind of down on that movie. Didn't make a lot of money, but I thought it was interesting. It kept my attention the whole time, and I don't think anybody else, except for Clarke, you're the person I've heard that actually enjoyed it.
It's a weird. That movie
weird.
is not for everyone.
No, it's not.
That's a very divisive. It's long.
Yep.
It's like a Hammer movie. It's totally bizarre.
Yeah.
But I dug it.
Yeah.
We have good taste.
Yes.
I mean, this wasn't a movie. Everyone knows this movie, but I thought it should have done better. Was War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the second one so much, and I thought, okay, everyone's gonna watch it, and then it just kind of flew under the radar. It didn't make as much as the last one, and people really aren't talking about.
Didn't the second one come out more closer to the spring?
Yeah,
No. The first one came out.
No, the second one.
Second one came out in July. First one came out
First one August.
Don't test me on it.
Okay.
First one was August, right?
First one was August. Second one was July, and then the difference was in July when it came out for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, it didn't have much competition. This year, it had some serious competition in around that time. But I think it should have went back to August.
Yeah, because August right now is pretty sparse.
Yeah.
If it had done August, I think it would have done a lot better.
Yeah. All right. So, Natasha, while Clarke finds out that I'm right, what do you want to talk about next?
I'm still looking for it.
Well, Despicable Me 3 is the most underrated movie in my opinion.
Yeah. Really?
I'm totally kidding.
right.
Oh,
Okay.
you're kidding.
S. Will asks.
Wait a
if
minute.
it-
Hold on a minute. Clarke, under her breath, this one. Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was learning. I went, oh, he's right. Yeah.
Sorry. What's next?
Too funny. Okay. S. Will asks, if it is a box office and critical hit, do you think they'll be looking to big name talent for the adult sequel?
You know what's so funny? Go ahead, Clarke, because
No,
you talked
please.
about it. No. I was absolutely throwing to you on this.
Okay, so yes, here's what I think is going to happen. If I had to guess, I think it is going to be a great movie. I think it is going to crush at the box office. And I think when you look at what part 2 is going to be, part 2 is going to incorporate the adults. You know, the whole deal is about fear, right? It's about when you're a kid, what scares you. And then this part 2 is about being a grown-up, those fears manifesting, whether you're Mike Hanlon and you're an African-American man in the Northeast and it's a weird part of town, whether you're Beverly and your father was abusive and now you've married an abusive husband. This is what they're dealing with in the older part of the novel. If I think A-listers are going to see that Muschietti handled the dramatic elements of part 1 so well. The kids are great. The movie is heartfelt and it's scary as hell and it's going to be well received critically and commercially. I think you can absolutely lock in some A-list talent for the grown-ups.
I agree 100%. I think that this movie is the first one. If it pays off and it's a big hit, then they'll absolutely be able to lure some of the big talent in. I think they already could do that now, to be honest, because the name kind of carries, unless of course, it bombs and they don't make it, but that's not going to happen. I do think they'll get some big stars. I'm very curious to hear who they're going to get.
Don't forget, Jessica Chastain starred in Mama, which was Andy Muschietti's
Well said.
first directorial debut for features, and she is a beautiful redhead.
There you go. Dennis?
I mean, I'm not too familiar with the source material, so I don't know who they can get for those roles. I just, I kind of like the kid vibe of the first one, so I don't know how that's going to translate into the sequel.
Did you see the miniseries?
Long time ago.
It's basically what happens is that so in the first when they deal with the kid, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you know the book so well, but in the kids, they have to go through this experience. ties up or maybe doesn't tie up,
Yeah.
however they think, and then we fast forward later where they have to go through it all again together as adults.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So David, I don't want to cut you off if you.
No, I agree with I just agree. I'm sure if it does well, they can get anybody they want. I mean, because you want to be a part of a storied franchise that's done well. They can get anybody they want.
And also, so you can look to the trailer, and I mentioned this on Movie Talk earlier, but you can look to the new trailer at the end with the clown room, right, with Finn Wolfhard, and that, as I mentioned on Movie Talk, that's not in the book, right? So another thing people can do, because if you know the novel, you know that a lot of the adult stuff is them looking back and remembering what happened when they're kids. Well, guess what? You can't shoot with 13. The kids aren't going to be 13 years old anymore. They're going to be 16 years old, and that's not going to work. But if they take solid creative liberties, like it looks like they have taken with some of the scares in the first film, and they really take like the core messaging and principle of like what the point is with the grown-ups, they can write some really great stuff.
Unless they shot some of this stuff already.
Unless they did, which would be great. I truly hope that they did.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did, but I truly hope that
It would
they
be
did.
smart if they did. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. I'd like to thank everybody who joined us today. First, Dennis N., where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram Dennis.tzng. I'll be on this weekend's Mailbag with Mark Riley and on tomorrow's Collider Movie Talk.
Well, she is classy AF. It's classy Clarke Wolfe. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Clarke Wolfe, Clarke with an E, Wolfe with an E on the internet, and you can find me on the Stardust app. Go on the Schmoes guys are doing some stuff on the Stardust app, and so am I. So you can go on there and download the app. It's free, and find me. I've done reactions to the It trailer and Devil's Candy, which is now on Netflix. It's a great movie, so check it out.
D. Griff.
Speaking of Collider Heroes and Collider TV Talk going live lately, we did a Collider Heroes, Collider TV Talk crossover. We reviewed the first episode of Defenders. That's up on YouTube right now, and Collider Videos channel right now, so check that out.
Natasha Martinez.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NatashaLexis_.
And for me, you can find me, Kristian Harloff, on Twitter and Instagram. Jedi Council a little later today, and absolutely tomorrow I will be calling the match between William the Beast Bibiani and Scott the Man Mance, and the Ultimate Schmoedown tournaments are right around the corner, and we will be doing some bracket challenges for you guys, contests, and all that good stuff, so stay tuned. Join the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook group, and you'll find out exactly how to be part of that. All right, guys, thank you guys so much. We will see you in just a little bit for TV Talk. Join us. Great!
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.